Hey everyone, what's up? Welcome to the Evolve with Emily show. I'm your host, Emily Hayden. And in today's episode, I have two very special guests with me. We are currently 1 week out from the 2020 Olympia. It has been quite an incredible year for all of us. And by incredible, I mean full of hardships, but also full of really good things for the people that push through those hardships. I think this year taught us that you can't expect, you can't wait, you can't, wait for the perfect timing of anything. And I think there are a few people who decided to push through the madness, decided to push through the struggle, and are going to come out with that same goal that they had going into 2020 with. And so I have one of those people here with me today. Actually, I have two of those people here with me today. We have a repeat guest. First, let's introduce and welcome two-time Olympian, about to be three-time, Miss Lauralie Chapados. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me again.
Of course. My audience loved having you last time. And so I know that they're going crazy to be able to hear from you, especially a week out from the show. And thank you so much for your time. I know it's so valuable and you're a week out, like peak week is right around the corner. So thank you. I can't even imagine what your energy is right now. I just appreciate your time so much.
I think peak week is so important for me, but having you around and how I appreciate you and your energy. So it's for me too right now. I'm just feeding off that goodness, positivity, energy that you always have.
Girl, I am fed so good right now. I feel so great. I have all the energy to give, so I will give you as much as I possibly can. Take it. I got you.
I need it. Yeah.
And our second guest is her coach, actually, James Ayotte.
James what? Ayotte.
Ayotte. I added a C. Why did I add a C? I just asked you before the show, and then I literally blanked when I looked at you. I was
okay.
Anyways, James, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
James is the head coach of Team Atlas. You constructed Team Atlas. Lauralie is one of your clients. So for any of you that don't know, now you know, because it's my super short show. Did anyone ever watch that? No?
Which show?
It's okay. If you know what I just referred to, comment down below. It might be an American thing. It's like this little, it was like a little sitcom type thing, I think. Okay. Anyways,
I'm not aware I'm Canadian, so she is.
Right, I'm Canadian too. So let's throw it out there.
Yeah. So let's throw it out there.
Let's talk about Eskimos and moose.
Wait, have you guys seen an Eskimo?
Well, I am one. No, I haven't. I know.
We just looked at you like, wait,
they have them in
really?
Alaska and northern, but no, they don't just walk around the streets where we live.
Okay. I actually went to Montreal for the first time for the Ben Weeder show.
Yeah,
when was that, last? Oh, yeah.
Last
Hello.
September.
Yeah, hello. You backstage. No, sorry, it's all coming back.
Did you coach yourself for that show or no?
I did, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, can I coach you? And you're like, no. And I was like, so rude. So rude.
I was like, you know what? I may have had a little bit of trust issues at that point. I was like, I don't know who you are. I don't know you. I don't know if I like you. That's where that was at. But now we're here. We're in a podcast studio together. I actually want to share our first impressions of each other because we were just talking about it off camera, and I think it's actually kind of funny.
Mm-hmm. Wait, you had a bad first impression of me?
I didn't have a bad first impression of you. I was just like, who is this guy? I just didn't know you.
Exactly.
It's more, and it wasn't even bad. I'm not a skeptical person. I don't think people are bad, but I just didn't know you at all. So I guess it was indifferent. Mm-hmm. And then I'm really thankful for 2020 because you all of a sudden you start speaking on things and you start saying what you believe and things like that. And I'm like, oh, this guy is real. He's honest and he gives no fucks about what people think. He's strong enough to stand in whatever it is that his opinion is, but it's always backed by evidence and facts.
So yeah, the same thing with you. When I met you, I thought you were kind of like a California liberal hippie surfer type girl, whatever. Yeah, tofu.
Don't eat tofu. Never surfed in my life. I do love California.
Yeah, and then as you said, this year, people are kind of just speaking their opinion. But I've always been like that in my life. I'm always speaking my opinion, and even Lauralie's like, oh, you're kind of controversial sometimes. But I'm like,
yeah.
That's why I've my entire life I've been kind of controversial, and I feel like that makes people respect you a lot more. Instead of just putting on a front, you just show everyone the person you are, and they take it or leave it. And then your circle is going to be surrounded with people that are real and like you for the person you are. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. It gets exhausting trying to put up just kind of a front that everyone can like. I feel like when you're actually the truest version of yourself, and you get to see who really aligns with you in a real way.
Yeah. So that's what you were saying, is that when I posted my stuff and you posted your stuff, I'm like, okay, we're kind of very similar.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. We have very similar mindsets and things. I don't know. It's so funny. I always get to thinking deeper, and I'm like, I don't know. I align really heavily with like I think it's because I don't know how much you believe in like energy.
Don't throw
stuff.
out an astrology sign at me or something.
No, I wasn't gonna do that. Okay. But I mean, it might still be a little woo woo. Like I think
I don't have any crystals in my house.
No, I don't either. Well, if the moon is this way, no, I'm kidding. Man. No, but I do believe in like masculine and feminine energy, and I think for whatever reason, I think it's because I'm very like independent that I do have a lot of like masculine type of energy. So I think that's why I like align heavily with people like you or like Andy Frisella or I don't know, like Ed Milet, like all these people that people always like tag me in their stories. People actually tag us together in a few things too.
Yeah.
Usually like world related. But anyways, I don't want to get too far off topic. So like I mentioned in the beginning of the show, we are 1 week out from the Olympia right now. Is that your chicken next to you, Lauralie?
Yes.
It is. That's amazing. I didn't even notice that you brought it in. Are you going to have a snack? Sorry, I just saw it. So, okay, last year's Olympia was less than ideal going into it because of an injury that you had.
And other things too, but yeah.
Yeah, right. I'm sure there was like a lot of things that you were having to battle getting in there. So I remember last time that we talked and last time that they listened, you were saying how like just like getting through all of that and actually being on stage was like such an amazing accomplishment for you given all that you had to go through. And you mentioned that like this time was so much different than last time. Can you kind of explain a little bit of what's been different this time and how you feel going into Olympia this year compared to last year?
So I think 2019 for me was a actual complete failure but rebuild. So I'm gonna explain myself. I'm gonna explain that. 2018 was probably my best year, right? So winning shows after shows, and then first Olympia I came second. Top two, like comparing with Angelica, was like my biggest like person, idol that I look up to. Mm-hmm. And then I do 2 shows, China finished, and then I finished second in the Philippines. And that's how I end up my 2018 season. And that second place at the Philippines was probably the factor that
was
changed.
The start of the downfall.
The start of the downfall. So, and did a very bad relationship, which actually was a blessing in disguise, right? And
just I wasn't coaching at this time.
Yeah, no. Hired this coach, and then I started getting really into my head really bad. And
how so? What do you mean into your head?
Thinking like that second place like was the end of my career. Like I'd never go back to the top ever again. Like I had to make a choice of just get all into it or not doing anything at all.
She's messaging me. I don't mean to interject, but she's messaging me like, should I just quit bodybuilding and just like go back to school? Should I do this? And like Lauralie, the way it works is like in 2018 when she won her Olympia, she's like a baby. She doesn't even know what's going on. She just like kind of shows up and ends up the second best in the world. You know what I'm saying? And Lauralie needs to be like a good mindset and needs to be focused and needs to like feel happy. You know what I'm saying? And the whole 2019 year, she was down on herself. Always felt she looked terrible. Was like didn't know what she was doing in life. And like the thing is with this year, it's like she'll go back into what happened in 2019. But this year, like even my girlfriend's like watching her videos and she's like, wow. My girlfriend loves Lauralie's YouTube channel. She's like, I can tell just her mindset is so different this year, and it greatly reflects the shape that she's gonna bring on stage just because of her mindset. It's just like so.
Yeah, I think fast forward to the Arnold and having like the worst placing in my career and just like the whole entire the worst look ever for me was that's when I started believing in myself.
You said that's when you started to believe in yourself?
Believing in myself.
When you had the worst placing.
Yeah.
Explain that.
I think it was a little bit after
that. But I mean, that's where you're faced with a choice that you have to make. You're like, because coming back from 2018, I had all these expectations from other people to show up. Because I don't know if you guys remember, like the Arnold was like, it's going to be me between you and Janet. Like you're a top contender. We expect the most out of you. And I gave everything to that prep. Like I suffered so bad. And that's what I thought I had to go through to be my best. Mm-hmm. And the thing is, like, I chased someone and I didn't believe in myself at all. Because I know I was a winner in some, like, because I had trophies, but then deep down in my soul, like I had nothing to back it up.
I feel like the hardest part about it was like you came to second place, and then she came second place, and then she wanted she's kind of coaching herself at that point when she came second place, and then she wanted another coach to kind of bring her in, and she kind of got convinced that of all these things need to change in order to beat Janet at that time.
I see.
And she gave everything she had, like suffering, like doing all the cardio, like everything. And even though she gave everything she had and she followed everything to a T with this guy, that coach I coach her is a good coach, but just in this particular situation, maybe he didn't understand her body. It's her first time coaching, she has a very hard body, so it's nothing against this coach, but just her first time, it was just like it was a disaster. And so she gave everything she had to be her best, and it was her absolute worst by a million times.
Oh, that's
and the
so
second
hard.
she walked on stage, everyone was like, no, like what? Even like the head judge Sandy looked at her and was like just shaking her head, you know what I'm saying? And that's like such a bad feeling when you give everything you have and you regress so much. So that when you're at the top, like in the bodybuilding, when you take a step back, especially a big step back, it's really hard to like regain momentum. So that's why like that year, like she came, she was looking good going into Olympia, and then like 13 days out, she had a terrible back injury and she couldn't even walk the last week. She couldn't train the last 2 weeks to Olympia. So it was just like the whole year was a disaster. But the good thing is she looked bad. I was coaching her at the Olympia after that show, and I admit she looked bad because of the back injury or whatever, but she still was able to place fourth.
Wow.
In the world, looking terrible.
Wow.
So
right,
you know what I'm saying? So that's pretty good. So it was only going up from there. And then she did a show a week later and won Italy and stuff like that too. But then like her mindset kind of got better. She's like, okay, like I'm not completely out of the game. Fourth place looking at 60%, that's not bad. So then she just like her mindset started getting better and better, and she just evolved from there.
And I would say that's because of him, and like it's probably one of the reasons I stay with him, because we're friends, and there's this thing about James that people probably hates about him, because he's gonna tell you right straight to your face, and like he doesn't have time for your whining and bullshit. He saw it all. So like I needed that in my life. And it was the point where I was like, okay, I'm gonna keep what I want in my life, and my environment changed completely. And for an entire year, like it was a mindset prep. That's how I call it.
You should shout out Sean though, because her boyfriend, dude, what an incredible guy.
Yeah,
oh my God.
Can you talk a little bit about y'all's relationship
Such
and
a
about
nice guy.
how that's like impacted your mindset? And introduce your boyfriend for people that don't know, Mr. Olympia.
Absolutely. So my wonderful boyfriend, Sean Roden, Mr. Olympia 2018. And we've been together for a year now, and I never talk about relationship in podcasts, just because it's been it's a roller coaster, but it's so important because it's part of life, and everybody's different because life happens to you. And having Sean with me, we've been together 24/7 together, and there's something about that person that I could tell you, but you wouldn't probably believe me, because it's so deep, and we connect where the gym for us is just so much more, and where winning a title is not just a title for us. It just goes so much deeper, and it's an everyday thing. And he's just been the best supporter in all kinds of aspects. And for us, it's really about we find ourselves not chasing the spotlight for our own self, but where we want to prep the person we're with, that when the spotlight is going to shine bright on the person, it's going to shine the brightest.
Wow.
And that's where we thrive.
Well, that's why she said like it's because of me, their mindset, but honestly, like I think it's mainly because of Sean. And Sean's with her all day long, every day. And I'm staying at their house now, and I've known Sean for a couple of years now, and this guy put everything for Lauralie to win. Like he puts her as a priority. And it's so nice because like even Lauralie, when I'm like talking to her, like ask her, hey, how's Sean? You know what I'm saying? And she like puts him as a priority. So she's like, I'm making sure he eats all his food, I'm making sure he trains. So they're both like a really good team. It's a really good dynamic. And I found out I've known Lauralie for a few years now, and when Sean was introduced into her life, her whole mindset changed. She became a lot more mature. She became a lot more like focused. And Sean is just a really, really good. If you know Sean, such a nice guy, and he really is genuinely wants Lauralie to succeed, and he puts her as a priority. And it's not because he wants like to like latch onto her success, and like no, like he will stay in the dark and pretend he's doing nothing. But totally. And then like, this is my girl and I'm proud of her. And he's like, honestly, really, really great guy, and I'm grateful. I tell Lauralie every day. Every day. I'm like, Sean is so nice. You just stay with him forever. I'm like, because I know Lauralie how happy she is, and like before Sean, she was like, there was like a lot of things going on, and she was like miserable all the time and stuff too, because the surroundings were different. And when you have like a partner that you support with, and she's explained like, I don't want to talk about your relationship so much, but
he's like, I just love you guys so much.
But it's so simple. It reminds me of my relationship too. I have a very similar dynamic where it's just like, it's simple and it flows.
Wow.
We don't really argue, and you're just a team at the end of the day. And he really like, he messages me too, and he's like, I'm a second eye for you if you ever need, and I know I can rely on him too if he needs.
That's great.
So it's just like he really is like a big like factor for her success and her mindset being so steady this year, and I really appreciate it.
Yeah, I mean, like I agree with you. Like, it's also like about life and my struggle and my emotions. Like, for, you know, with James, he's a coach, like for sure, like training wise, like physique wise. But Sean is like all the rest, you know, like all the thing with life throws at you. Like when there's something with my family, like he has a way to just like listen to you and just like really wants the best for you, like all the time. So shout out to you if you're watching it. Like, you probably will, but yeah, very, very blessed and thankful for that relationship. That's for sure.
Yeah, I think who you have in your corner is just absolutely massive.
Corner. Yeah,
yes. And being able to have somebody that is such an essential part of, you know, you're going after, you were literally going after to be the best in the world at what you do. You know what I mean? And so to have like the people in your corner that you have is just, I get like so excited about it for you. Because like it's just I think things align in the right timing for a reason, you know, and I think there's a lot of things that have aligned really well for you. And it's not like and it doesn't mean like, oh, things align magically. Like you worked your butt
That's
off.
funny because like you said, like the crystals and you do astrology.
No, they talk about aligning.
No, but one thing I believe, I don't manifestation, I don't know, whatever. But the thing is like everything happens for a reason.
Yes.
That I do believe is true.
Yeah, I believe that.
I do believe everything happens for a reason.
Yeah. And so for you to just have like these quality people in your corner, I think is like such a valuable piece. And like I think one thing I think that you said that I really liked was that it's not like he's here supporting her so that he can like gain something from it. It's like and what you said too, it's like you guys are developing in a way where it's not just physical, it's not just this title, it's not just this thing that you want, but it's like you're developing into the best version of yourself. You're evolving into the best version of yourself so that when the light is on you, like you said, it shines like even brighter. And it is like, you're such a beautiful human. And like you and I, we first met at Olympia, like at Olympia as spectators, like years ago, you know, before you were ever a pro, right? I don't think you were a pro yet. And yeah, and it's just so amazing to see like what you've turned into now. And you're such a just sweet, humble, precious person that like I would love for this to happen for you. Like I'm with you on this, you know, 1,000%. And like just, you know, just my own honest Emily opinion, because I like to say what I believe no matter what. And I have seen you go throughout this prep. It's the best that I've ever seen you looked. I think you look perfect for a bikini. And like I love a lot of the girls that are in the top, and I think everyone's coming in with amazing packages this year. Wow. I honestly,
tough Olympia for sure.
Honestly, I'm so like,
whoever wins is going to be
good.
Like
I have so much respect for every single one of you girls that's going up there. So other competitors that are watching, like I've kept tabs on you guys, you know, and like I'm with you. Like I want everyone to succeed, you know, and at the end of the day, there does have to be a winner. Like that's why you compete at the Olympia. You compete to win. And I think everyone has that goal. Everyone has that goal of being Miss Bikini Olympia. I do believe that you have it, you know, and I know that you can do it. If it's this year or not, I don't know, but I know that that's in you. So I am excited for when it does happen for you. I know it'll happen.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, that gives me chills. Yeah, because it's on my mind. And there's one thing also you say, like, you know, success. Like I want all competitors to succeed because you want to compete against the best.
The thing with Lauralie is she's so annoying. Okay,
tell us.
The most annoying part about Lauralie, I tell her every day. She says, "Yeah, I look good," and then every person, even amateurs, like, "Oh my God, this person is so good. This person is amazing." I'm like, dude, look here. Why are you looking at them and saying they look great?
Yeah.
And you look at like she puts.
Like she says they're amazing.
So
and she
humble.
Says, I look good.
She's so humble, and she like looks at these girls that are like not great. She's like, wow, look how amazing. I'm like, Lauralie, I'm like rolling my eyes at you. I never want you to compliment another girl to me again.
Stop.
I don't care. Okay, I don't care how they look. I care how you look, and I care how my athletes look. You don't got to message me. oh, wow, look at this tie-in. I'm like, dude, this looks terrible. No offense.
You got to remember, like, most of us, we start as like fans of the sport.
Yeah.
So
She's such a fan of everyone.
Yes, like you respect the sport. You respect the hard work. You're like, wow, like they truly look amazing. I get it.
Yeah. But she like messaged me, this girl that came like 7th place at the show. She's like, wow, I don't know how this person could possibly lose. I'm like, Lauralie, you look at yourself and you look at this person. It's not the same. You're not in the same league anymore. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like.
I think that's what makes you special as a person, though. Like, I would never want to see that change, honestly.
No,
like,
I agree.
imagine if she was like the polar opposite of that. I don't want to see someone like that.
Yeah, of course. But that's great because I like you said it because all my athletes are kind of like that. They kind of like all my pros. They're very like positive about the other girls, and they like that. I hate when, you like hate these girls or it's like a drama or like pettiness. That's not like a good vibe. The humbleness is you know what though, honestly, in the bikini. In the IFBB Pro League in bikini, it's pretty civil. I feel like everyone I feel like it's the most civil category. Men's physique is a lot more like at their throats, but in the bikini, I feel like most bikinis like respect each other, and it like they want to see like the girls succeed, and it's like we were actually just in the car with her boyfriend driving here, and like last year when Issa won, like I was clapping. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
I'm like, I am happy for her. She looked great, and she deserves to win. You know what I'm saying? And I'm sure whoever wins this year is going to deserve to win too. And like, even though it's not my athlete and it doesn't benefit me if Issa won that show, I know how hard she worked. It's reverse Olympia, and she was happy for her too. You know what I'm saying? It's just that's a healthy mindset.
Yes.
That's a healthy mindset to have when you're in the sport,
Exactly. And I think if you don't have that mindset, hopefully this is like bringing your awareness to the fact that like, one, you're going to be humbled whether you want to or not if you're in the sport. At a certain point, you will be humbled. So
no, like that's what I was saying to her yesterday. Like even if you win this Olympia or someone wins Olympia, they're going to lose the Olympia title eventually. Yeah, you're not going to keep it. It's not like a bikini is different. You can keep the longest streak has been 3 years. We have Phil Heath eight Olympia, Lee Haney, Arnold. You can go on for a decade in bodybuilding. Yeah. In bikini, the look changes. Yeah, if you look at like the 2010 Olympia versus like 2000, a person who won that. Like wouldn't even be like a pro at this point. You know what I'm saying? Because it adjusts so much, and bodybuilding is kind of like a stable type thing. It hasn't changed much in the past like 20 years, so it's kind of like the same look. But the bikini is continuously like evolving, so it's impossible for the same person to win like 10 years in a row. It's never going to happen. So you're going to be humbled. You're going to win. It's going to be great, and then you're going to lose it. So you better be prepared for that. You know what I'm saying? But enjoy it while it lasts.
Yeah, I think it's a lot more humble in the pro division of bikini versus like the NPC. Not saying, for everyone, but I think it's like a little bit of maturity. I feel like you have to like mature in the sport. So I never even penalize new competitors that have a little bit of an ego because I get it. Like they haven't learned what they need to learn yet to be a little bit more humble. And I know for myself, like, for example, when I was going for a pro card, like people would be like, are you upset that you got runner up again? Because like I kept getting runner up to my pro card. And I was like, no, because like I know that I have it. Like I'm right there. Like it's a matter, and like you're able to actually be happy for the person that it's happening to because it's like that's going to be me one day. And I want people to be happy for me too, So I feel like you can have peace knowing that like as long as you do 100% of everything that you can do, you truthfully cannot say like, oh man, I could have done a little bit better. As long as you know that for a fact, that's it. Like you just release control of everything else, Yeah,
you put in all the work and then at the end of the day, it's up to the judges, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
But the worst thing is like, I agree with the NPC thing is the NPC girls are not, I would say maybe 5%, which is a very low number. But when you have like when you have like hundreds of thousands of girls competing, you know what I'm saying? Like that 5% equals like tens of thousands. And they're like, oh, why did this girl win? Blah, blah, blah. And they're like complaining and they don't focus on themselves and winning. And usually when you're a pro, you can kind of like realize, because the caliber is harder, so you can see like, okay, this is where I'm missing. I'm missing the glutes. I'm missing this. And a lot of the amateurs think they're much better than they are. But I agree with what you're saying. Like you're happy for the girls like that succeed. Like usually I win every pro card in Canada for bikini. I'm just known for that. I win. So the past 3 years I won almost every one. But this one girl, Melanie from out east in Canada, she did like, I feel so bad because we beat her like so many times, and she finally won her pro card. And I was happy for her. I'm like, this poor girl. Yeah. If she was my athlete, I'd be so happy for her. And like I was, even though like she beat my client at that one show and finally went pro. I was like, man, you're happy for her. I'm happy for her because I know like she's a nice girl. You know what I'm saying? And I want her to succeed, even though I don't necessarily benefit from it as a team standpoint or financially. It's still like you're invested because the fitness industry is pretty small. Yeah, it is pretty small. Everyone knows everyone, especially the pros. So it's like you build like relationships. Like for example, before podcast, we're talking about you, and you're on a different team, and you're able to interview me. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And we're still friends. And if you succeed and you be one of my girls, I'm not gonna be like, oh my god, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be happy for you because I like you as a person.
Thanks.
And I like that about the fitness industry.
Exactly. So. I think that there should be more collaborations that are being had, and like you were saying, like it doesn't matter if I'm on a different team, we have different coaches, whatever. Like we're in this thing together, and I think that we have to like come together. And the more that we do that, honestly, the more fun it is. Yeah. Like. This is what we do. Like, why not have fun? Why not build relationships? Why not make friends with the people that share the same similar core values, that are doing the same things in the gym? Like, this is actually where you're going to meet your people.
It's not fun if you're backstage and everyone has animosity and you hate each other. You know what I'm saying? But it's not, I like the bikini category because it's not like that. Yeah. Guys are worse than girls. I hate coaching guys.
Yeah, guys are honestly very dramatic.
Guys are 10 times worse. They don't follow what you're doing. Girls are just going to listen and do what you tell them to do. And guys are going to go to a different coach and do different protocols and do different peaking and, and oh my God.
It's anyways, so true. Lauralie, what is something that has been really like essential to this prep that maybe is different from last prep that has really kept you like
salmon
in a really good spot? It could be food.
Salmon.
It could be food. It could be like a routine. It could be maybe like you change your cardio, or maybe I don't know. What's something like different this year that like really helped you?
The mindset.
The mindset.
Honestly,
everything.
I know exactly what it is. It's putting the past in the past. That's what it is.
Really?
She no longer looks at, like, she doesn't look at last year. No, you never mentioned the Arnold. Last year, all she talked about was the Arnold, which came 6th place and looked bad. That's all she talked about. I'm an Arnold, I'm done. Last year, her mentality was like, my career's finished. That's what she said. And this year, you haven't told me that one time.
Okay.
Not one time. And she said, like, I look terrible to Arnold and this. No, she's just like, okay, I want to win. I'm doing my best. And she's staying humble. You know what I'm saying? She wants to win, but if she doesn't win, she's still going to be, happy at her look.
It's kind of like I went back to like my dark horse vibe. Like
exactly.
That's where I thrive. Like nobody expect nothing from me. Like that's exactly like how I go.
Explain what dark horse means for people that don't know.
So a dark horse is basically like an unexpected competitor. Like nobody bets on you. You know, you're just over here like doing your own work, and you're betting on yourself every single day just by showing up and putting in the work. And nobody expects from you, but then you show up.
But a lot of people expect from Lauralie, to be honest.
I mean, right now, because of you're posting all the time.
She's like, don't post. I'm like, I'm posting. You look good.
But, that's where I thrive. And it was, I was explaining to you like 2018, like I won all the time. Like, I was right here. I don't have this typical success, like started from the bottom, now we're here.
Yeah.
I went like right here, and then I went like right there. So how do you go from that? Like, especially when people are all eyes on you, like expecting you to just go there and win. Because I look really good. Like, I think like 10 weeks before the Arnold, like I was in the best shape of my life technically, but we went too far. But yeah, like 2019, it was like, oh, Laura didn't look really good at the Olympia. She's injured. She's probably like, you don't like, people don't talk about you anymore.
Yeah, when you like get like thrown under like the bus like a few times, and you're like, oh, you know what I'm saying? Like people start like expecting, when you have like so much potential and you succeed, everyone's like on your back. Oh yeah, they're gonna win. And then the second you hit a speed bump, everyone's like, they count you out. You know what I'm saying? No, but that's in life. A lot of that happens. You know what I'm saying? Like even like with the big bodybuilders, like everyone like I'm not gonna say names, but let's say like the guy has got crazy potential, and then they miss like the peak a few shows. They're like, they're not even considered anymore. Like you know what I'm saying? So
they're like they go to the next hot thing. Yeah. But
now I feel like Lauralie like kind of proved herself again, and like people aren't blind. You know what I'm saying? Like you can see, like when Issa was going to Olympia last year, she posted videos. We're like, okay, she looks very good. You're not blind to reality. You know what I'm saying? But you can tell when someone's off. And like Lauralie has been showing her shape. You know what I'm saying? And she looks very similar in real life than she does in videos. So, I mean, people are not oblivious. They know like what to expect from her, and they know that she's at her best. She's very good, and she's very hard to beat when she's at her best. And I think people expect now that she is going to be at her best this show. So.
Yeah, we just gotta show up. That's the plan. 8 days out.
Yeah, she has to show up. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think one thing is like, last time when all of this happened, it's kind of like you said, you were like on that success, on that momentum, and then all of a sudden you had this ultimate decision of like, okay, you didn't have the outcome that you wanted. It was a failure in your mind, and you had to decide like, am I going to continue to do this or not? And I think a lot of people, they struggle with failure because I think they struggle to define failure properly. I think when they fail an attempt at something, right, when they don't get the outcome that they wanted, I think what you did right then and there proved that you weren't a failure. You would have been a failure had you quit, but you chose in that moment, like, I'm not going to quit. And
imagine ending on a sixth place loss of Arnold. It's like, and that's your last decision, wouldn't you? But you know what though? It's like a Michael Jordan type thing. That's hard to do. End at your top. Not many people end at their top. People usually end when they fail.
True.
You know what I'm saying? So it's a very rare situation, but. Yeah, the fact that she didn't give up at her worst is just a true testament to, you know.
Which is funny because at the same time, on the other perspective of things, I'm sure people are listening and they're like, man, I would kill to like make your worst. Like that's their goal right now.
Yeah, I know, but it's not the same. Like I would kill to make Michael Jordan's worst, but it's never gonna happen.
Right,
you know
right,
so
right.
It's not you're comparing apples and like oranges. You know, it's not the same.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah.
Yeah. See, there's his realness coming out.
Yeah,
you can tell Lauralie's like, hey.
Like Lauralie's worst is still pretty good, but I mean.
Yeah.
To win the Olympia, she's got to be at her best.
Exactly.
We know that, so.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you have a morning routine?
Waking up, making breakfast for Sean, getting, you know, my things kind of together for the day and eat my breakfast and go to the gym.
Yeah, and send me check-ins. Look at 10 messages from me every morning.
Yeah, exactly.
What did 2020 do for you? Was there like an overarching like lesson or thing that you learned from going through this year? Both of you guys, I'd like to hear.
God, I think everything is just that in a such unpredictable environment, you can actually do something very predictable. Like my days were predictable. Like I always knew they'd turn out. Like I was in a good environment, a good mindset every single day. Like every single day I wanted to go to work. Like I had a purpose. My goal got clearer and clearer. Like my dream just got, I got hungrier. Like I'm starving for that dream. Like every single day. Like it's just, I grew so much.
She matured a lot now.
And I think it's because of where you put your focus. Like you could have put your focus on all the problems of the world.
So here's what I understand from what she's saying is that you have to focus on what you can control and not control. We can't really control 2020. It sucks. But if you put your, focus on some things you can control and make the best out of it, then that's going to be, that's going to help you bring out the best outcome of the situation. So
what about you? What was something that you learned?
I learned, this was my, every year I learn a lot more than I did the last year for the past 10 years. So I'm always much better at everything I do in my life the next year. So like I look back at 4 years from now, I'm like, what was I doing?
Yeah, totally.
I made my first pro. I was like, I was so bad. Like, you know what I'm saying? It was like a luck. But for me, it was actually not even the coaching aspect, just in other parts of my life. I have a new girlfriend now. We've been together for like a bit over a year. Yeah, she's the best person in the world.
I'm a huge fan.
So she was a very big addition to my life in 2020, and she really showed me what true like love is, and I could really like. I never had a girlfriend close to as amazing as her. She's a flawless human being.
You guys are both, by the way, giving me so much hope. I think it was a loss.
Oh my God. I was
I'm not realizing it until I'm talking to you guys.
I was like, I'm going to be single. Wow. I was like, I want to be single. I was single for 2 years and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to like do my thing. My relationship with myself is great. I could travel wherever. I get up tomorrow and go to Italy and know that I could buy a dog if I want. No,
that was you?
You don't got to talk to anyone. And it's a fun life. But then kind of when you like, I was not looking for a girlfriend. That's the last thing I wanted because my previous girlfriend, like, it kind of like threw my career in shambles, and it was just like a bad relationship. It's like gambling, really a bad relationship. Like those two things together can ruin your life, or drugs. Those are the three things that you got to stay away from those three things. So, yeah, when I met her, we were just kind of like, doing our thing, and then like I was like, man, this girl is freaking nice. Like I was like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
were you like waiting for it to not be real? At any point, were you kind of like, there's no way that she's this nice?
No,
like,
I was just like,
you just knew.
You just realize, yeah. I like we hanged out like every weekend for like 3 months, just like just as like friends. Like, we're just hanging out, talking, being friends. Yeah, and then I was just like, okay, this girl is really nice and like and doesn't expect anything. She's not a gold digger. She's super beautiful. Yeah. Usually, if they're super beautiful and like, they're like in their 30s or like they want to like. There's a gold digger. It's very rare that someone has all the qualities, and I'm just like, what is this unicorn? You know what I'm saying? It's very weird. So then I started like, I was like, I'm gonna like lock this one down because this is like, this person is like, it's so sad, but what I always wanted from a relationship before, because I always had like kind of crappy ones. It's just a girl that doesn't like bring me down and just kind of like, not even, I don't even care if they contribute. They just gotta like kind of like keep me stable and just like. Let me carry them a bit through life and just not kind of bring me down. Yeah. She propels me forward, which is like a very rare it's such a nice thing to have. I never had that before.
I feel like you guys both have such really
It's so funny because I compared Sean to my girlfriend yesterday. I was like, dude, you guys are exactly the same person. They're literally the same.
Sean's like, excuse me.
No, they don't look the same, but no, but anyways, yeah. So on back to what I learned in 2020. Yeah, so she was a great addition to my life, but as well as like from a financial aspect, like I've always been very good with, like, I've been an entrepreneur since I was 16 years old. I bought my first house at 17 years old, so I've always been very like kind of like an old soul, and I've always been like set in that aspect. But I love learning, and I love adapting, and I love like I want to be a billionaire one day. Like that is my goal, and I know I'm going to achieve it. And I just like the learning process of like getting there is like so fun for me. Like it's so fun because I'm like okay, I'm not close, okay, but I'm on track to get there. Like I can do it in the next 20 years. So yeah, this year was the first time. So I'm only 28 years old. So the last time there's been a huge financial crash was 2008, which was 12 years ago. So I was 16. I was still a baby. So I didn't really get to experience that like as an adult. And now I realize, with the financial crash, if you're properly positioning yourself financially, you could take advantage of it. Like, and taking advantage isn't necessarily a bad word, because you want to take advantage of the situation if it helps you and doesn't hurt anyone else.
Right.
Like these billionaires take advantage of these crashes because they position themselves properly, and that's just being smart. It's not like someone loses if you gain. You know what I'm saying? If you gain and no one loses, then that's a great situation. So I learned so much going through this, and I didn't necessarily lose money, but I realized the position I need to keep myself in. I learned a lot about like what I want to do as far as like further progressing my like financial success, and I learned that I don't want to actually get into real estate. I thought I might actually do it, and I realized that's not the passion I have. And I post on my story a lot that the way to get extremely wealthy is you're driven by passion and not by money. So let's say like every single person that's a billionaire, Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, Bill Gates, they weren't like, okay, I want to be the richest person in the world. No, that's not how they did it. That's a complete opposite mindset. They focus on their passion and building their empire, and the money just comes as a byproduct. And I realized the real estate aspect is I don't know anything about construction. I don't know anything about this. I don't like dealing with these people. I'm like, this is just a money grab where I'm trying to focus on the money, a dollar sign, and I know I'm not going to be successful in it because I don't like it. So yeah, so I completely shifted off that, which was kind of like what I was focusing on more before, and I was like, no, I spent like 6 months really going in depth into researching and all that stuff too, and I was just like, it's not me.
I think that's important. Some people, they're not sure what they're passionate about, so they go and they research something, or they get involved into maybe even competing or something, and then they go throughout the researching process, the competing process, and they're like, I actually don't like this as much as I thought I would.
That's perfectly fine.
And that's okay. Yeah. I think people are scared. They almost see that as a failure, and in reality, it's like when you're trying to pursue your purpose, trying to pursue your passion, you have to go out there and try things. You have to go out there and learn. You have to take that first class, take that first course for, or research, or do some education. Do whatever you have to do to take that first step to then have your own experience. Once you have experience attached to whatever it is that you have in your mind, then you can really clearly make that decision for yourself of like, okay, yes or no.
Yeah, but it's like a process. Like when you were 12 years old, do you think you'd be doing this when I was?
No.
Were you? No one really can predict their future unless it's kind of like, you're kind of like on a set path, and your parents like, you're doing
crystals.
This and this is what it is. Yeah, so
I said unless you have the right crystals.
Yeah, the crystals are necessary. So I don't have any crystals. I don't think you have crystals too, you said. So
I know. I don't hate on people, but I just, whatever.
Okay, crystals are not that great. Okay, guys, I'm sorry. She doesn't want to say it, I'll say it. Yeah, so I mean, when I was a kid, I wanted to just be like a computer nerd and like not talk to anyone. Now I'm like coaching the hottest girls in the world, and and I was extremely fat. I was 320 pounds, and I lost 140 pounds back when I was younger, like maybe 8 years ago, and I'd never be coaching fitness girls.
That's crazy.
It doesn't make. This is not how my life, what I ever would have thought of. And you have to experience it and put yourself out there.
Yeah.
So if you're always in your house, trapped with the same people, the same 9-to-5 job, never getting out of your circle, you don't find your passion. Well, it's because you're not really putting yourself out there, and no one can tell you what your passion is.
Yeah.
You find your love through experience and people that you meet. So.
What do you love most about coaching?
Telling people what to do and not doing it myself.
Really?
No. I'm like, eat chicken, and I'm like eating pizza.
Totally.
Yeah.
By the way, they brought me some cookies. These look amazing. I always see you post about them. They're from the cookie dealer.
Yeah, they're really good.
Gonna have to, definitely try some of these. I see them on your story all the time. Do you like warm them up, or what do you tell me in detail? What do you do to these?
Yeah, air fryer.
I don't have one, but I could borrow one.
You gotta, if you start competing again, you gotta get an air fryer. I learned about this. 2020, most important thing.
Most important lesson.
Yeah.
Honestly, everyone raves about it. I did try it for a little while, but I never I didn't consistently cook my stuff in there. I was just busy. So
I never actually used it before, but I know people. My girlfriend cooks for me, and it's pretty good. So
yeah, okay. No, but really, so you put these in an air fryer?
Exactly.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
No, back to your question.
Yeah.
My favorite thing. Seeing athletes succeed, and I like to win. I don't know. I like to be competitive. Like, I hate personal training people. It's not like a fun environment for me. As we talked about this yesterday, like trading my time for money. It's not my passion. And people that are good at it, they love doing it. You know what I'm saying? So that's not my thing.
Like my trainer, Doug, he loves training.
You gotta love it.
He's like obsessed with it so much. I'm like, you really do love this.
Like me doing a group class, like I'd rather jump off a bridge. Like that sounds terrible. I would never do that. But some people are so good at it because they love doing it, and that's what I was speaking about before. But I like to win. I think that's the main thing. I want to just be the best at what I do, and I think that it's definitely very possible. You know.
Yeah. I mean, I think I
already dominated in Canada as far as like pro cards and stuff like that too. But I want to be the best in the world, and it's so fun. Like, this job allows you to travel so much around the world. I've been at Japan, freaking Europe, everywhere, and you meet so many cool and nice people with the same mindset as you, and you build like such like life like such great relationships with these people. Like I have Jennifer Dory, she was my athlete. Yeah, she's great, and then she became my employee, and she's literally my best friend now. You know what I'm saying? So it's just it's just like you build these relationships, and you like could learn from each other too. And it's just like you meet so many great people in the industry too.
Yeah, exactly. So and that's why I think it's so important to like be friends and like put yourself out there and ask people to do a podcast on a Friday night a week out from the Olympia. The fact that you guys said yes, oh my gosh, seriously, thank you.
That's great.
Yeah, so I think if there's one tip that you have for somebody that is starting into competing and they are kind of like still in the beginning stages, maybe they're not a pro yet, but they have big goals in competing, what's like one piece of advice for their journey that you would have for them?
I would say, with all that being said, don't wait on winning. Don't have the win as that's when I'm gonna start believing in myself, kind of like a deadline, or just start believing in yourself right now. You have to, because you have to believe in yourself that you're gonna wake up tomorrow morning at 5 a.m. and do that cardio, like that hour of cardio that you have to do. Like, you have to believe in yourself that you're gonna go through those 6 tilapia and asparagus meals, and that you're gonna do that every day for the next 20 weeks. Like, so believe in yourself right now. Yeah. Don't wait to win. Don't wait for a placing for it. Get fueled by what you have inside, and let that fire shine bright, because that's where the magic happens.
It's like intoxicating.
She definitely
right?
has crystals at her house.
Stop.
That's right.
I talk about this. I reach this point in prep every single time where I literally feel like I become like a superpower human, like a superhuman. Because
you're impressing yourself as you go, or what?
It's like you know why? It's when I reach the point in prep. Sorry, I feel like I have something on my lip.
No,
I think my lips are chapped. Sorry. I think it's because I reach a point in prep where everything in me wants to quit. Like the hardest moments where it's like cardio that like you are just like, you feel every 10 seconds of it feels like an hour. Like that point where you want to quit and everything in you is like, why am I doing this? Why am I continuing to do this? And then pushing through and getting past those moments is like, it's almost like you're on this uphill climb, right? And you feel every single second of it. And I swear every single time I just barely get to the top. And then it's like, I get this like electrifying energy, and it's like the best momentum ever. And
it's like a roller coaster.
Yes. Oh, I love it. Like I'm just imagining it, and it's like
you're proud of yourself. That's the best feeling in the world, is being proud of yourself. I think
because you like unlock this version of yourself that you're like, I didn't know I had that much strength.
And you're like, wow, I actually did it.
Yeah.
True.
What's one piece of advice you would have for someone that's getting into competing?
Gotta get an air fryer, I think.
Get an air fryer.
Yeah. Okay, next question. No, for real. There's a couple things. One is don't be coached by your boyfriend.
Okay.
I always say it's a disaster. It works out like less than 1% of the time when boyfriend's like, oh, I'm gonna coach you, and they like destroy. So many bodies like become a disaster because the boyfriend like coaches them, like a bodybuilder boyfriend coaching a girlfriend. It doesn't work. It's very rare that it works. It works sometimes, but get someone that has experience and they've been doing this for years and years and years. And even if it costs a bit more money, you're investing in your health, your time, your energy. You know what I'm saying? And Yeah, you want to have a good experience. It's not
like
fun.
do it the right way from the beginning.
Do it the right way. Don't try to cut corners because you're not gonna have a fun time. And sometimes it will work out, but it's probably not gonna happen. So you should. Yeah. And the second thing too is don't do it for the Instagram. So many girls come to me like, I want to compete. I want to do a show in 12 weeks. Because they want to like show the stage pictures, and like bodybuilding is a lifestyle and it's a marathon. The girls like nowhere near stage lean want to do a first show in 12 weeks. I said, you can't just immerse yourself into this and like gonna present what you're seeing on Instagram.
Yeah.
So then they start getting into like, wow, I gotta pose every day and I gotta take all these, all these meals that I don't want to eat, and I gotta do all this cardio, and this is terrible. I don't want to do this. So like people do it with the wrong mindset of them wanting to be something that they're not. And you gotta just like, you got to really love it to be successful. Yeah. I don't think there's anyone on the Olympia stage that really hates bodybuilding. They love it. It's their lifestyle. They do it as a second nature. And even in their offices and their focus, they're not necessarily starving and doing all this cardio, but they're still focused on the main goal and improving. And if you're just going in there, okay, I'm going to do a 12-week prep, and then I'm going to go back to real life and then do a 12-week prep.
Yeah,
you're going to look terrible, and
you can't go back to normal.
It's not like a realistic goal. And I see, and a lot of girls like, I don't think it's for me. And I said, you know what? I'm glad you realize this. Now, some girls get it like even 2, 3 months, 4 months into it. Like, man, I got to sacrifice a lot. And I said, this is bodybuilding. This is what no one's forcing you to do this. You're going to have to sacrifice, family meetings and Christmas dinner and, going out with your friends, and you can't drink when you're in prep, right? Even in off season, you shouldn't really be drinking as a, as a bodybuilder.
It's just as an athlete in general, it's so horrible for your muscle. Yeah, like it's literally muscle wasting for you to be doing that.
Your bodybuilding is always in the back of your brain as a competitor. It should be, no matter what you're doing. Like you're like, if you're in the off season and you're like, you're missing meals of protein and stuff too. Like you're just not, being the best version of yourself. Like, and then off season, you have a little bit more leeway, to kind of like, you can go out with your friends, you can do this and that, but you're still, at your core, you're still a bodybuilder and you're still doing things to propel you forward. Because when you take a big step back in bodybuilding, let's say like you get injured and you lose like 30 pounds. Man, people don't really come back from that. Yeah. It's very, very difficult. So if you have control over a situation, you definitely need to make sure bodybuilding is your life and your lifestyle.
Yeah. It's interesting that you're bringing this up, because I was speaking to someone recently and she was like, hey, when are you getting on stage again? And I was like, well, I'm in my off season. So, I really just took, I was kind of on prep until June of 2020, and then I really just my body needed a break. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna give myself a break. So I talked about. You were in
prep for a show and then you didn't do one, or what?
Yeah, I was in prep, and then because I had been prepping since February of 2019, and I'd gotten really, really lean. I'd done those shows, and I just continued on. I never stopped. And so, anyways, I for myself decided that I needed to take some time and improve. And so I was talking about taking some time off, and I just said it really casually, I took some time off. She was like, oh, okay, so you didn't go to the gym, you didn't. I was like, wait, what? Yeah. I was like, I'm sorry, our definitions of off are so different. Let me clarify. So when I'm talking off, I mean I'm not doing a ton of cardio, and I mean that I'm not dieting hard down.
You're training harder than
I'm training. I'm meal prepping. I'm ordering my prep meals. Yes, I'm having flexibility to eat out when I want to eat out, but nothing really changes other than I'm not dieting really hard and I'm not doing tons of cardio. Besides that, I'm
still on a schedule. You still prioritize it. Yeah.
1000%. What is today? Leg day. You know what I mean? It's not Tuesday, it's leg day.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just me when I realized how much of a lifestyle it was my mom, I would go to my mom's and she would put potatoes and pasta in the same plate with a steak. I was like, dude, that's a double carbs right here. There's something wrong. You start seeing your plate differently. You start seeing protein and you see macros all the time.
The best way to know someone's on a bodybuilder or not for it is if they have a meal without any protein in it. If you go to breakfast,
if you go to breakfast
and they just have a pancake, you're offensive. What kind of person are you? They just have a pancake and no protein. Even some eggs, you're okay, you're not a bodybuilder. No. So if you don't have some type of protein in every single meal, you're probably not a bodybuilder. Definitely not a bodybuilder. That's funny.
And honestly,
you do look at, you're oh, how many macros are in this? How many calories are in this? It's just your mind just adapts to being a bodybuilder. Yeah. And guys, when I refer to bodybuilding, I mean even bikini too. Anyone that competes.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
So you just look at food differently, and it's not necessarily you have a bad relationship with food. It's just you're using food. You can enjoy it too, but you also you look at it as how is it going to fuel your body? Yes. When you look at alcohol, there's no benefit taking alcohol. It's terrible for you. As you're a bodybuilder, if you're taking alcohol, you're going backwards. It's not. Maybe it's good for your mindset or whatever, but it's not going to help your physique.
Which is funny because it's actually a depressant, and I just don't think that it is good for your mindset. I think people that drink often and tell themselves that they're fine, but yet they're wondering why they're internally like unhappy or dealing with like depressive thoughts or dealing with, you know, all these things. Look at something like that's an actual depressant, like meant to depress like your mental state. So for me, I'm like, I just don't have time, energy. I don't have one single day that I want to waste on a depressant. Does that mean that I'll never have a drink again? No.
Well, you can have wine and stuff sometimes, like on the weekend stuff. But if you're like having wine every night before bed, you're not a bodybuilder.
Yeah, or like binge drinking here and there, like even if that's what you're doing.
Partying.
Yeah. And like also with the off season, you know, people don't realize that that's actually where improvements are made. Yeah. And I think sometimes off season can be hard if you or somebody that looks for external validation, right? Because some people thrive off of the, you know, the likes, the comments that people do on Instagram. And the truth is people just don't like and comment as much when you're not as lean because you're not as impressive looking. But that's where you have to really ask yourself, am I doing this for other people or am I doing it for myself? Because if you do it for yourself, it doesn't matter if not a single person is watching, you will go in there and you will crush your sessions, you know?
Because it's not realistic to stay staging all year round. But it is realistic to still stay focused on your goal.
Yes.
Like that's what I was saying before. I have like amateurs. I want to do a show in 12 weeks. I'm like, you have no muscle. You can't just diet down and then you're gonna
see what's not there.
Yeah, you gotta like even my girlfriend, for example, like last year she's like, I want to do a show. I just met her in like last October, and she's like, I want to do a show. I'm like, Hannah, you're gonna get on stage in 1 year. I need 1 year with you. And she's still missing like 8 to 10 pounds of muscle. So you can't just. Bodybuilding isn't just dieting down.
Yeah,
it's everything else. And dieting down is the last thing to fine tune. You know, your whole body so that you can show off what you've been working on in the off season.
And I think it's also important to look at like how long you've been training and like the muscle maturity as well, because you'll have maybe somebody that's like, you know, been training for 2 or 3 years and then they go and compete against someone that's been training like 10 years. There's a big difference in that muscle maturity.
If you're a Lauralie and you're an alien, I mean, you can pull it off.
That's true. Oh, that's so true. That's so true.
But you're right though. Like especially for bodybuilding men.
Yeah.
It's very obvious when you have like baby muscle versus like someone who's 45 years old. They're very dense and hard.
I think it's amazing. Like I'm such a fan of like men's bodybuilding because I think it's like it's so incredible to see because that's what you're seeing there is like just the actual tangible evidence of years and years and years. It's insane.
And like no steps back really because people that take big steps back like they got injured like I told you it's very hard to come back from. But it's like when you've been like Dexter Jackson, you're competing for like 30 years. You're like this is unbelievable. It's like a form of art.
Yeah,
you know
it is.
And I'm actually a bodybuilding fan before I am a coach. Always like I love watching bodybuilding. I don't think you can't not be if you're a coach anyway.
So I have a question I want to ask both of you before we end the show because we're at the end here. But Lauralie, let's play this through and let's say that you win the title Miss Bikini Olympia. What do you want to say to yourself?
We already know.
Right?
You're going to Disneyland.
More Kiwis. Oh, we're going to Disneyland because it's in Florida. We practice this. It's gonna be.
Wait, this is gonna be your speech?
Yeah.
We're going to Disneyland because you know he was like nobody can take it away from you. So from then just
going to Disneyland. What are they gonna say? Okay, no. I want to go to Disneyland.
Oh, this is so bad. I mean, to myself and everybody else, like, if we more serious now.
Yeah.
Just like being the proof of like that girl believing in herself.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be the proof of that, like that actually works, you know? And it's not, I don't want people to be like, I want to be like her. I don't want that in my life. I don't want to be idolized. I don't want to be like, I want to be looked up to, but just because I'm the person who believes in herself and like I'm the proof that when you believe in yourself, you can actually win.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to be that person for that little girl out there, like who's 17 years old and having her family and her friends telling her that it's not a good idea. That's like, no, like if I believe in myself and I show up for myself, like it's going to work one day.
And that's key, I think. If you believe in yourself and then if you show up for yourself.
Oh, yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Let's play this thing through and let's say that you don't win the Olympia this year. What do you want to say to yourself?
I mean,
still going to Disneyland.
We're still going to Disneyland.
Yes. So Disneyland is the after party.
Yeah. I mean, I work so hard. Like it's just nobody can take that away from me.
Exactly.
So it's going to be the title or any other thing. Like nobody can take what I had, the year that I had away from me because I'm growing so much and I'm going to enter the next season or the next day, like that Sunday, I'm going to enter that and it's totally different person. Is it going to be with a title or not? Like, I don't know, but I'm betting myself on it for sure. And that's where I'm going for. But either way, I'm so like, I already won. Like, so much. Like every single day, every 24 hours that passes, I'm like, damn, like I won today. Like,
yes.
Yeah.
And I think that's the goal that everyone should have in mind is win the day. If you can win the day, you have such a better chance at winning these ultimate things that you want. And I do think that if you believe in yourself, if you win the day, that those things will come with time.
It accumulates.
Yeah, it accumulates. Exactly. People don't realize, they go after this one date, this one thing, it doesn't happen, and they think that's the end. And it's like, if you'll just keep going and you'll keep showing up day after day, you'll get it.
Well, here's an example of that. Like, as I referred to, like Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, all those people. Did they imagine this final round, at the end of where they're going to be, and they're going to be, titans of the whole tech industry? No. Day by day, they grew. Like Jeff Bezos had a little, store. You all saw the sign, like little Amazon. He's selling books, you know what I'm saying? And then it evolves and he wins every day and he keeps improving and improving until he becomes, the best. So
that's beautiful. Well, guys, thank you so much for taking time today to be on the show. Where can people find you guys? So plug your Instagrams if you have a website or anything you want to plug, or any social media, plug it now.
So you've been so good to me with like the YouTube pushing. So I've been pushing my YouTube channel. So if you guys want to watch videos of me, I have my Road to the Olympia completely over there. So it's my name, Lauralie Chapados, and Instagram, Lauralie Chapados. No, Lauralie Chap _IBB Pro. I don't look up for myself a lot. Sorry about that. And yeah.
Me, it's just Team Alice MTL on Instagram. That's good.
Awesome.
Thank you so much,
Emily.
Of course. I'll link all of their information below. So guys, do me a favor. If you enjoyed this podcast, make sure to tag me on your Instagram stories. Also tag James and Lauralie. Let us know what your favorite part of the show was. Comment down below. Everyone give her some good vibes. Actually, by the time that this one releases, the Olympia will have come to a complete. So that's going to be kind of cool to be able to look back on this.
It's going to be the week after?
Yeah, it'll be right after. So
I love it.
Yeah, I think it'll be perfect. So make sure to comment below. Let us know what you guys thought. And I will see you guys in the next episode.
Thank
Bye.
you.